Thanks everyone for being here. Um, Always a treat to taste wine with our good friend Keith, winemaker at Closson Chase. Keith, thanks for being here, my friend. So great to have you in tasting some of your new release of 2023. And again, a big thank you to Jared and Lisa for having that amazing ideas and thinking of us for to being part of it. So we're thrilled to be with you guys. Thank you. And I want to say hi to everyone from across the country who are joining us. We have three amazing wines to taste today. And I mean, I can't wait to dive into it. Before we dive into that, I would like to formally introduce well, first and foremost, before we introduce the star of the show, I would like to introduce my partner in crime, Mira. Mira, thank you for putting the landing page together, the offer together, because too many people across the country think that I'm doing everything on my own, and I don't. I taste wine, and that's what I do. So let's give the credit
My
to.
pleasure. You give
So
me
thanks
nice
for
wine, I'll do whatever you want. That's all good.
yeah, right. Exactly. So yeah. With that said, thank you, Mira. Thank you to the goodness, and thanks to all the guests, to all of our members who are with us tonight. Uh, I would like to introduce my good friend, Keith Tyers. Keith, welcome. Thanks for being with us tonight, and thanks for sharing your new 2023 releases with us. I think we have a bunch of Closson Chase's fans on the screen here tonight. So without wasting any more time, please give us a little rundown who you are and how long you've been with Closson Chase and a little bit of history of the winery, please.
Sure. Sounds good. Well, everybody, I guess I'm making the assumption by now with all the stuff that we've done together, that everybody knows who I am. My name is Keith Tyers. I'm the winemaker at Closson Chase. I'm actually more proud to be the grape grower at Closson Chase, because I truly do believe that wine is made in the vineyard and that it should represent the place and tell you the story of the season, the year, and my interpretation of that year. And I hope you ultimately like the wine. Um,
You're at range.
I sorry, what was that?
Oh, there you go. Come back
Oh,
in.
there we go. So I'm so excited to be here because we have some 23s available, and I have to be honest, with all the stuff going on with our near and dear friends to the south of our international border. Um, we've had an exceptional year and people have been coming left, right, and center. So it's always one of those things at the end of the season, you're kind of looking and saying, okay, where's the low hanging fruit and what can we move and what can we do with that? And this year we don't have any low hanging fruit, which I kind of take a bit of a thank you for the fact that people have been supporting Canadian wine and more specifically me and what we do at Closson Chase. And it's been a fabulous year. And I think we have some great wines in front of you. This is it's kind of interesting. We've had several conversations with myself and the assistant winemaker, and talking about 23 and what it represents. 23 is kind of the comeback year for me. 22 was not my best year, and 2021 was a bit of a challenge just because of the size of the crop and some issues during harvest. So 2023 was all hands on deck. It was me in the vineyard making sure that the grapes were being grown to the standard that I have carried the torch from for the last 20 years. So I've been at Closson Chase on my on my health insurance or the employee insurance. I'm employee number four. Just to be clear, the other three don't exist anymore. So I've been there since the get-go when we were just four acres and change. I've done handwork throughout the entire vineyard. I've driven tractors, I've sprayed, I've been up at 4 o'clock in the morning. I've done punch downs at 2 a.m. I've done pretty much everything that was asked of me. And I never wanted to be a winemaker. When I came out of Somm school, all my friends said, "So you're going to be a winemaker?" And I said, "God, no, it's way too much fucking work, and I can never do that." And 23 years later, it's what I do, and it's what I love to do. And can't think of anything else that I'd rather do for at least the next 10 years of my life. So my wife just left the kitchen. So, um, uh, and she is the boss, without a doubt. And I'm very fortunate that no matter how long things are, and it was kind of interesting because had a really great conversation today with somebody. I got a shave with a straight razor today. I finally used my 50th birthday gift certificate and got a haircut, so the hair's a little bit longer now. And the interesting conversation was is that, you know, and I truly do believe this, and I see it in you, Carl, and I think and I see it in Mira too, right? Every day that you do something that doesn't seem like work, and I get paid to do this. Every day is amazing to do, and even on the days when I don't want to get up and go to work, I still go and I still do stuff, and stuff gets done, and all those things are amazing. But I have the very fine privilege of being able to do something that I love every day, and I hope it's reflected in the wines that are made at the end of the year. Because as a winemaker, unlike a cattle farmer or a dairy farmer or the guys that grow grain here in the county, because we're a huge agricultural base here, the one thing that holds true is that at the end of the year, what we've grown, because I have to be honest, it's not me anymore. I'm not out there tying up grapevines and doing all the handwork. I got a crew to do that. But at the end of the year, what's put in the bottle is a reflection of what I think that year is, and a reflection of me and the wines that I enjoy drinking. And sometimes I think they're really good. And sometimes, you know what? I'm my worst critic. So that's me. That's Closson Chase, and this is what we do. I'm a Pinot guy. I love Chardonnay, and I think that we are a region that can do both exceptionally well, and we can do this little grape called Pinot Gris pretty good, and they tell a story of like nowhere else in the world. And I was listening to a podcast today. I'm diatribing here, so you can cut me off anytime, Carl, but I think we're on the same page. I was listening to a podcast today, and and as the world shrinks in apparently our consumption of wine, although I have to be honest, Canada has really taken hold of drinking Canadian wine, and I love it because, and if you've ever received an email from me, it says drink local, drink Canadian wine. Because after last year and being in the Okanagan, I was humbled to believe how good the wine is coast to coast to coast in this country. And as somebody who has enjoyed some Oregon Pinots and some Washington State Syrahs, and maybe every now and again a couple of Cali Cabs, I do think that we are truly world class in what we do. And if there's a style you like, you can find it in this beautiful country. It's just that we're exceptionally large as a country, and unfortunately here in Ontario, we don't get to see a lot of those beautiful BC wines, which I'm hoping will change as long as the things stay in
Hey
place. But
Keith,
we'll
you
see.
should sign up for Carl's. You should sign up for Carl's Wine Club.
Oh,
He
does that mean
is signed
that
up.
means that well, hold on, but did my membership expire? It's been a while.
No,
I should do
you're
that.
a
Okay.
VIP
Okay.
and
Oh, thank you.
everything.
Thank you.
Are,
Thank
yeah,
you.
And
yeah,
you know
yeah.
what?
Well, I'm happy to sign up for it.
He
And
was joking.
last time I shipped you wine, Keith, I think I shipped you wine for the next 10 years, okay? So for that,
No.
like, I don't want people to listen, everyone muff your ears, but I think there was like 15 cases of wine last time I shipped Keith.
Wasn't that many. It was
No,
only 10.
okay.
Oh, come on. That's like barely a 6-month supply.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Well, you know
Not
what?
that he runs a winery and has like 10 years supply.
No. It's kind of funny. I stopped in tonight because I grabbed the samples because I'm going to drink just along with you guys too. Well, I'm going to taste. I'm not going to drink as much as I probably would want to, but I'm going to taste along with you guys. So I stopped in, and one of the retail supervisors was there, and he's like, "Oh, you're thirsty tonight?" I said, "No, I got a Zoom call with Carl's Wine Club." I said, "There's no way I'm drinking 3 bottles in a night," and it would just led me to believe that I don't drink my wine that much, to be absolutely honest with you. I just there's some things that I drink right away, and then there's other things that I don't want to drink for a couple of years. So I don't drink what I make as often as maybe I should. So anyway, it's going to be fun because I've tasted these wines when they were in barrel, and I've tasted these wines after I blended them and bottled them. But it's been a couple months since I've had the opportunity to sit down and taste them. So I'm looking forward to this just as much as everybody else. And don't worry, I'll be my worst critic. So everybody can say
So
what I'm saying is way harder inside. So.
when we were out there this summer, Keith, we were listening to some Mallow on one of the Chardonnays. Is this that bottle, or is that was that a different one?
No, it's a different one. That was 2024. So that's the whole, yes. So anyway, that wine will be available. I don't know when, but ideally by next April. I'm fortunate that I'm not getting pushed to put stuff in bottle, even though we're sold out of a lot of things. But yeah, so no, it's exciting. It's exciting.
So Keith, I would like
Yes,
to, Mira is the absolute perfect timing, is exactly where I was going with that. So Keith, now people know who you are a little better. And
Right,
to me,
right.
if you ask me, guys, he's one of the most passionate people in the country that I've been working with since 2020. I just absolutely love Keith's passion for Pinots and Chard and for his terroir. So talking about terroir, Keith, can you tell us a little bit about what's very unique and very specific about Prince Edward County? I mean, like some of people on our group here know about the Naramata Bench here in the Okanagan, or the South Okanagan,
Right.
or the 20-mile bench and the Beamsville bench in Niagara. But one of the hidden gem of our country, it's definitely Prince Edward County, which is, to our opinion, all of us, like, who know the county, Chardonnay Pinot Noir is the absolute crown jewel of what you guys do. So can you tell us a little bit what makes the county so special for growing Pinot Noir and Chardonnay?
Absolutely. It's the soil. I guess that's the easiest way to put it. It's the soil, it's the location. We are a peninsula stuck out in the middle of Lake Ontario. And pardon me, sorry there. It's when I'm in other places around the country, I'd say when you watch the national weather and you look at Lake Ontario and you try and follow the shoreline, because almost every other shoreline, when you look at all the Great Lakes, they pretty much follow the lie of the land, except for Lake Ontario. When it gets to Prince Edward County, you notice that it's not kind of, for lack of a better word, symmetrical. And Prince Edward County is a weird outcrop of limestone and clay. We're ancient sedimentary limestone, 450 million years old, that stick out into Lake Ontario. And it's the modern influence of the lake, because we are the only region in the country that is completely surrounded on all sides by water. And it is this old limestone that is quite porous and quite malleable, and it erodes at a decent rate to put all these micronutrients back into the groundwater that ultimately become the wine that we get to make. And it's that nuance that's unique. The other thing that's really interesting about Prince Edward County is that we're the fourth driest county in all of Ontario. It's very common for us to have a summer drought, usually starting in the middle of June and precipitating all the way through until usually we get a little bit of rain in September, and ideally none before harvest. But and then it's a free fall after that. So it's all those things, and then ultimately we're also the coldest wine region in all of Canada. So today, for example, my vineyard manager Roy was out just touching up our hills. So we hill everything up. So next year's canes are currently buried under 12 inches of that clay limestone that I talked about, getting ready for what potentially will be a cold winter, where sometime between now and March 1st, but it's usually the lunar cycle in February or the end of January, heading into February, where will potentially see minus 25. And for anybody who's aware of BC, they understand that cold temperature kills. And so for us, it's imperative that we protect our vines, whether it's through geotextiles, if you're on a small property of 5 to 10 to 15 acres, or hilling up and burying canes like we do on 38 acres or 37 acres or however many we have now.
So
And
Keith,
that is huge.
12 inches is a pretty big, it's a pretty, I mean, it's a big, so how do you, for people who are listening here, because I just got back from Burgundy with Mira, and I mean, we talked about that with the Burgundian vigneron. What is the process? How do you do that? Do you have a crew with shovels, or like, can you explain us what's the
Sure.
process to bury the cane?
Yeah, sure. So I've been around long enough that we tried everything. We hilled with hay, we did other things. None of them were all to the same degree. So what we do is we come through the vineyard. The crew comes through the vineyard, and they usually start right after Veraison. Oh, that's a good one. That's a great picture right there. Yeah. So we come through after Veraison, and after we've thinned, then the guys go through and they start tying 2 canes down per plant. Ideally, one heading south, one heading north, or 2 in the same direction, as long as they're north-south, because we don't want east-west, because east-west will get taken off by the tractor. So they tie those on a ground wire, and then we come through and we cultivate the soil between each row, and then we bring through a V-plow, which is very much like a single. The old style is, if you've ever seen the CP rail snow train that runs through with the big V plow on the front of the train, it's very similar to that. And we pull it behind a tractor, and all we're doing is we're taking the dirt that's between the plants in the middle of the rows and throwing it over and burying those canes that are tied on the wire close to the ground under the dirt. And out of every roughly 6 to 8 inches, you get somewhere between a minus 7 to -10 protection of the vine. So under a foot, we're looking at a vine that has, even if it gets to -25 under the soil, it may only be -15. And the vines can easily handle that. The vines are okay taking -20, but at -22, they struggle. At -24, we see bud loss, and at -25, anything that's exposed to -25 for longer than 2 seconds is absolutely toast, and we can't get fruit from it. So we're unique like that, and those are probably the most mitigating things. But we figured out winter, and somebody asked me recently, like, what's and I don't use climate change anymore because there's naysayers and all that conversation. So I say there's more extreme weather patterns happening. My biggest concern now as a grape grower here is drought during the summer. And we just came through the driest year that I've ever experienced, and I experienced 2016. So, which was the driest year up till this year. So it's that becomes the biggest challenge, but that's what you get when you grow grapes, and you grow grapes on the extreme edges of everything. And you get to actually taste the difference in the wines, because 23 was dry and hot with a drought towards the end of the season. 24 wasn't, and 25 is. So you get to see a couple of different aspects on stuff.
So Keith, thank you so much for that.
I have a quick question, and I wanted to say,
Sure.
anybody, like, we all kind of know each other. If there's new people here, like Jenny, I don't know if you've met some of the others, but I think we have met you. So just feel free to unmute and ask questions. I think everyone's cool with that. Hey, Carl and Keith.
Fire away.
Just make it kind of a fun chat. But one quick question I had, for just like a comment, I guess, Keith, is just, why is it that the Okanagan winemakers have not been learning from you guys? Because we had that horrendous freeze, like, we had no 2024 vintage essentially in BC, right. Like very tiny, like maybe 5% of a vintage. And we had between -23 and -27 for 56 consecutive hours, but nobody had any protections in place. Like, and you're saying sometimes you get -30. And that's been for a long time.
The coldest
right?
I've seen it is in the recent history, because I can't date back temperature wise all the way back to when I started. But the coldest I've seen it here has been -27.4, and it was -27.4 for pretty much like 2 nights straight. So the daytime high would go up to like -18, and then it would drop back down at night.
And your vines were
And
okay through that?
yeah, because they're buried. So they're
They're
underground.
very.
Now, that was the polar vortex year, so that was 2014. We actually had that year totally different sidebar. I can go off on tangents left, right, and center. But that's the year that we actually had what they call frost quakes, so that the ground was so dry and that the soil itself got so cold that the limestone under the soil actually fractured and created kind of like mini earthquakes. You could actually hear the ground pop and feel a little shake. And that was, yeah, so that was 11 years ago. And I forgot completely what you asked me to start with because I went there. But
Well, I'm hoping that more BC people are going to learn
Oh,
from you
BC,
so they
yeah.
don't.
Richard Chernak, who's a friend of mine who's outside of this group, who grows grapes at Jolie, is that how you say it? Joie?
Hmm?
Across the road
Oh,
from you.
Joie. Yeah, Joie.
Joie.
Yeah, Joie Farm.
So
Joie Farm. Yeah.
It's a
yeah, so
winery out here.
yeah,
Across, I
yeah,
can
yeah,
see it in the dark here, across the
yeah,
lake from where I
exactly,
am. Right here.
exactly.
Yeah,
And
in the
and
Okanagan.
Rich and Richard's a friend of mine, and I know him from when he was here in Prince Edward County. The wine world's really small. I have to be absolutely honest. The wine world's really small. Like, I know. Anyway, doesn't matter. We can keep moving along. So the thing was, is Richard came out after that, and he talked to people, and there is no way, absolutely no way, that anybody in the Okanagan is going to start tying down canes and burying vines. The cost is just astronomical. Um, it costs about it's gone up a bit, so I'm going to say it's about $3,000 an acre to grow grapes in Niagara. It's $7,000 an acre to grow grapes here in Prince Edward County. And maybe that doesn't seem like a lot of money, but in Niagara, for example, the one Chardonnay I make for $3,000 an acre grows to 4 tons an acre, and we thin it back to 4 tons an acre. Here in Prince Edward County, for $7,000 an acre, if I could get 2 tons, I would be like over the moon. So yields are half, costs are double. So production's limited, juice extraction ratio is lower, and it's just all part of this place. And I mean, it just is what it is. And it's agriculture, it's farming, and it's the best. It's not the best, right? It could be better, but Mother Nature's making changes to everything around us, whether it's us that have influenced whatever. That hopefully viticulture will change here, because grape growing here is on the extremes. Winemaking isn't, but grape growing is for sure.
Keith,
That's what
why
we
is it
chose.
so much more
Absolutely.
expensive in the Okanagan than it is out where you are?
Then no, it's not more expensive in the
Oh,
Okanagan.
it's more expensive where you are. It's
Yeah,
$7,000
absolutely.
an acre for you to produce.
Yeah, yeah.
Why the
So
price difference?
because our labor's doubled, so the hand labor
Okay.
that we need in the vineyard is doubled. So we talked about burying. So now it's kind of funny, right? It's cyclical. So now we rest things for the winter. And now when March rolls around, we look at the weather, we look at the soil moisture, and have to make a decision on when to dehill. And so then we have to go through the vineyard with tractors, and we take that dirt down that we've hilled up with the V plow with another specialized piece of equipment, and take the dirt down to a minimal level so that they're only about 4 to 6 inches of dirt around the cane. And then we come through and we clear that dirt away. And that frees up the cane so that the crew can come in and start to take the canes off the wire. Then those canes come off the wire goes back up. They do that over 38 acres. And then they have to tie those canes back on the wire. So unlike in the Okanagan or in Niagara, when you winter prune, you do that usually in February, March, and then you tie up your canes at the same time. So your canes are on their fruit zone and on their trellis wire before your season is anywhere close to being ready to get going. Because our canes are buried under soil, we have to wait longer because the soil needs to be dry so that we can get the tractor in and pull those canes out. We also need to make sure that we're not in a risk of getting minus 25, which, knock on wood, I've never seen in March. So generally speaking, by March, we're trying to figure out the weather patterns to pull those out. And then we have to pull the canes out and retie them up. So to tie down and tie up is 50% more labor in our vineyards than it is in the Okanagan or in Niagara, because viticulture is just different. And we have to pre-select our canes in September, October, before everything's hardened off and before we see fruit viability and inner cane node length. And so it's a little more challenging here. And I'll give you an example. My grower in Niagara farms I think he's up to 108 acres of grape across different varietals. He has a crew of 5. I farm, hold on, I gotta do the math here. 14, 33, another 4. So I farm 37 acres and I have 7 temporary farm workers. So my crew is almost double his for a third of the acreage. And
there is your cost right there.
That's
There is
massive.
your cost right there.
It's massive.
Yeah.
And that becomes the challenge, right? And because of the limited yields, our ability to ripen fruit to that tonnage, there's less of it. In Niagara, they're going to get probably 70 to 75% extraction ratio per metric ton, which means you're going to get 700 to 750 liters for every 1,000 kilos of fruit that you bring in. We average somewhere between 60 and 65%. So we're 10% less, and our vineyard inputs have doubled. So I mean, it just is what it is.
So after that whole explanation, your wine at $50 to $60 a bottle seems like a screaming deal.
Well, I mean, for people who know, you know, I mean, the 2023 Pinots that we're going to taste tonight were harvested at 1.4 tons per acre, which is less than Grand Cru Burgundy by almost a ton. And the Chardonnay we're going to taste was harvested on the high end, which the vineyard has done, but I think it's been challenged for the last 2 years because our yields have been less for the last 2 years. So maybe we took a little too much fruit off in 2023 at 2.1 tons per acre.
Speaking of the Chard, though, we should probably drink that while we're talking about Chard.
Exactly. So I think it's a very good point. It's one thing I want to do while we're having the Chardonnay. I know everyone's dying to hear more about the wine itself. The 2023, we have the Churchside Chardonnay in the pack here. But I would like, Keith, for you to talk about when I discovered Closson Chase a while back. The way that I understand your property is you have 2 main vineyards. You have Churchside and you have the South Clos. So for me, I have learned over the years to dissect mostly these two vineyards, and there's a massive difference tasting South Clos on its own and Churchside on its own. So if you would like to start by explaining a little bit the 2 different sides of the vineyard, I think it will help people to understand a little bit about the South Clos and the Churchside. Because to my understanding, what I've learned over the year, the Churchside is a little bit more tension. It's a wine with a little bit more energy and vibrancy, a little bit more of the minerality. And when I taste the South Clos, to me, South Clos is a little bit richer, a little bit more weight on the mid palate, and a little bit juicier. Now you tell me if I'm completely off the rail with that, but that's how I discovered Closson Chase on my end.
So sometimes I've said in the past, Carl, you're like my brother from another mother. I think that is probably actually, I can't say it any better. To me, I agree. And I don't know how it came about. The Churchside Chardonnay was, I don't want to say it was my creation, but was kind of an aha moment. I took over winemaking in 2015. And then I had we had a shitty year in 2015. We had frost on May 25th, 24th. We lost 98% of the crop, so I made a whopping 400 cases, my first vintage as winemaker. 2016 gave me the driest year in 65 years. The good news is that in 2018, when we were tasting the 2016s, I had a gentleman join me who had been a previous winemaker at some other wineries in the county, because I was in transition and I didn't have an assistant, so I needed somebody with a palate. And we were tasting through, and we tasted the church side, and he said, "These wines are totally different." And I said, "I agree." He says, like, so, and I never told him that we were tasting two different sides of the road. We just started tasting Chardonnay. And so the church side was born in the 2016 vintage. But I agree, they're just totally different wines. Some of it could be vine age, but I really don't think it is, because the vines in the church side were planted in 06, and the South Clos was planted up to 06. So there's only maximum maybe 6 years difference between the two of them. It's all aspect. It's all soil composition. It's all soil structure. Clones are relatively the same. They're all 95, 96, 75, 76. All the Dijon clones, all on 3309. So when it comes to the physical property of the plant, they're very similar. Barrel fermentation, all of them. Barrel aged, all of them. 16 months, all of them. Lees contact, yes. No stirring, no. Malo in barrel if it completes. I don't push malo. I don't inoculate malo. I let it go by itself. If it naturally happens, great. If it doesn't, then I filter. And when I say that, it's a year, right? Like, I don't work through the same vintage while I'm making a vintage. So 2024s, whether they had finished malolactic or not, on September 7th this year, they were all sulfited, all topped, and all put to bed, because I don't want to worry about the wine while I'm working on the current vintage. And I do agree with you. There's just a difference to the two wines. To me, the church side generally tends to be more white fruit based, sometimes with a little bit of peach. It tends to have more floral tones to it. It tends to be slightly more ethereal, for lack of a better word. The South Clos tends to appear to be more ripe. It tends to have fruits that are riper or sweeter fruits, for lack of a better word. Whether it's that, I've always found it, like, for me, the South Clos is bang on when I smell it, and I get what I call nectarine skin. It's like the skin of a nectarine that's not soft and ripe like a Niagara nectarine in October. It's got this little bit of a green nuance to it, and it has this beautiful, nice salinity. It's almost got that oyster shell quality to it, but it's a little fatter, a little richer. It is the second vineyard. Like, it's usually the last vineyard we pick, to be absolutely honest with you. Does that make a difference? Sure. But I also think it's just the lay of the land, because the South Clos is in a valley. It seems to be a heat sink. It's, when it gets hot, it's hot. And when it gets cold, it's cold. So it has the two extremes. It also has less, as far as from my experience of walking that vineyard later at night, there's less diurnal temperature differentiation in that vineyard through the course of the summer. So it seems like the rock radiates a heat back into the air that keeps the fruit metabolizing at a higher pace. So you almost seem to get those more rich, more tropical, nuanced fruits in there. I'm not super keen on pineapple, but I'm okay with peach and nectarine and even some mango and even some melon. And then the church side just seems to be that. Now the church side is only 4.5 acres and the South Clos is 9. So it's double the size, and the vines are older, and a different aspect to position to the sun, and drainage is hugely different. So the church side sits on the top of a knoll, where the water seems to dissipate and groundwater runs both north and south in that vineyard. So anything on the crest of the hill drains north. Anything that's just past that drains south. And I think it all minutely works together to create two different wines of two different distinctions. And I think you nailed it bang on. And the church side, I was asked this question this past summer. The church side is me. The church side is my expression of Chardonnay from my site, because I started making South Clos with Deborah, our first winemaker, back in 2007. We actually tasted through the barrels and said there's something unique here. that doesn't taste like the rest. And then again in 2016, I saw the exact same thing coming out of the church side. And so I think it's I get to craft this wine to tell a different story than the rest of it. Up till 2016, all this fruit went into the vineyard Chardonnay, and I just thought there was something totally unique about this place. And it's probably not that there's anything wrong with Clos. I think this has become a little bit near and dear to me, to tell a story of my journey with Chardonnay and how we make it at Closson Chase. And 23 is different again, but we'll talk. Anyway.
Oh, I mean, Keith, I have to say, and I will leave the floor for the guests after to talk about their impression of the 23. I've been tasting your wine since the 2018 vintage. I believe that 23 might be the best church side that I've tasted. Maybe after 19 was outstanding, incredible focus. But that 23, remind me 19 with a little bit more ripeness, but the same precision and the same edges and the same type of finish. So I give that wine 94 points, Keith. And I just taste them right in the middle of all of the Batchelder Chardonnay 23. So I had a pretty good benchmark to really focus on which, and I think this is absolutely amazing. Like I said, the flavor definition are astonishing, and then there's also incredible precision. You're talking, I like to define this wine on the flavor profile with maybe lemon, like lemon meringue pie, yellow apple, definitely like that, maybe blood orange a little bit as well, and nice flinty minerality on the finish, like rocky minerality, absolutely phenomenal. Well done. It's a great wine.
Thank you. Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead. Well, I have to mention, everyone's saying in the comments, it's amazing. It's disappearing fast in my glass. I do have to mention that you sent us 2 more surprises. So since we're talking about Chardonnay, maybe we want to mention those 2 others. And Carl, you can give us your speed dating impressions. And Chris, really interesting. Chris has the 2021 and says it's also stunning.
Pretty good.
Yeah, so I had the Southflow and the Southflow and the Churchside 2022 as well. So I'm tasting these 2 side by side just to dissect 2022 vintage. I gave both 92 points. They're exactly in line of what I usually find out, like what we just talked about, right? That tension and a little bit like underpine, like underripe fruits for the church side, and the riper side. To me, it's peach, white peach, on the South Glow. So both of the 22s, there's such a difference, a difference between 22 and 23. I mean, especially from the county. Wow, the density and the precision of 23 is absolutely incredible compared to 22. Not saying that 22s are not great wines, but 23 stands out big time to me.
So 23 is a bit of
a rebirth. Is it?
Yeah, I would probably say that's the best way to go. I mean, 22 is, as we've discussed, was a challenging year for me personally with the death of my mother and a whole bunch of other things that went on. And 2023 just was a refocus on what it is that I wanted to do. So there is new oak in this wine. Of the new oak, it's 1 500-liter barrel. So 2023 saw me switch from buying in 2020 in bringing in 228s to 500s because I like oak. I like the profile. I like all the things that it provides to a wine. But I think county fruit is exceptional, and I think it tells a different story than Niagara fruit. I think it doesn't need as much new oak as Niagara fruit can take. And so for me, I've been cutting back on my toasting profile since I took over, getting away from medium toast and going into the lighter blonde toast. And 2023 was the year that I bit the bullet, for lack of a better word. And the only new wood we used in 2023 was 500s. So for me, it's quite interesting. And when I was out in BC last year, I had the opportunity to go around after with Yan there, and we went to Meyer Family Vineyards. And I'm a barrelhead. People have called me it before. I never really knew what it was or how it was interpreted. But for me, the barrel is hugely important because I grow and it came down this year. We grow the fruit for 7 months, and then I stick it in barrel for at least double that amount of time, if not longer. So the oak treatment that I use I need to understand it because the wine is going to live there longer than it did when it was in the vineyard. And so, we're working on that, and it's always a constant work in progress, but I think I'm getting there. I think I'm getting closer to where I want. I think I've had the opportunity in my life to taste and drink some really good wine. And if I could drink Vaux Romanée or Gevrey Chambertin and Pouligny Montrachet every day, wouldn't be a bad thing. Even some Grand Cru Chablis would be okay too. So I can't afford those wines now. So I'm fortunate enough that I have the opportunity to try and make those wines, and that's what I'm striving to do, is just try and make the best wine that I possibly can and make it in a style that I think best represents the place. So 2023 was that year. It was hot. We had a drought towards the end of the season. So we had a little bit of dehydration, a little bit of extra concentration. These are not wimpy wines. I know what it says on the back label, and I apologize because I think this one is rated at 14. This wine is actually finished out at 14.6. So it's not a low alcohol wine in any way, shape, or form, but I think it's in balance. I don't think you taste the alcohol. I think it has beautiful weight, beautiful texture, great acidity. And I'd like to take some credit for the acidity, but that's just the place that we grow in. That limestone does it. And that's my job. My job is just to tell the story of the year.
Clean, beautiful, elegant.
Thank you.
Yeah, powerful and elegant. I think that's how I would describe that in a more poetry words. Like, it's powerful, but it's all in elegance. So and balance as well. Well done, Keith. I don't know if anyone has other comments about the 2023 church side. Keith, how many cases did you guys produce in 2023?
150. Oh, of total or of this wine?
No, for that wine, for that 23 church side.
150 cases.
150 cases, right?
Yeah,
so we're that's going to go fast. That's going to go fast.
So I think, because it was like 4 barrels and a 500, so 152, right? But somewhere around.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
no, and we'll see how it goes. I mean, I like old wine, right? Like, this wine is drinking beautifully now. But ideally I want to drink this wine in another 2 to 3 years and see where it develops.
So
I like my Chardonnays. Sorry, go ahead.
This call is consuming 0.6% of your entire production already.
That's okay. You guys are worth it. I'd rather share it with you guys than a lot of other people. Oh, sorry. Did I say that out loud? Oh, this is being recorded too. Shit.
And the good news is Mira already has a bundle ready for people who wants to buy more after. So awesome. I talked to Aaron today. Aaron is ready for more orders coming up tomorrow.
And I haven't released this wine yet. I mean, we're down to our last 60 cases of 2022, which we just released like in August. But this wine has not been released yet, and I don't want to release it. And I'm fortunate enough that there's a couple of wines that are on the smaller production side that I've kind of said, you know what, they need at least 8 months in bottle to get to where I would like to see them. And this is one of them. I mean, it's only been in bottle since April, so that's 7 months. And I think it's starting to develop exceptionally well. It's funny, I haven't tasted this wine in a while, and I'm glad I didn't start with this wine because it would.
Yeah, no, totally. I also included in the bundle for after, Keith, just so you know, and everyone, I included the 222 Chardonnay as well, the
Oh, thank
Churchside
you.
and the South Clos, because I have both here in my glass, and my
And
scores are
So
available there too.
yeah, so speaking of that, there's a little bit of a, a bidding war going on over the remaining 2021s that a few people have. You don't happen to have any library wines kicking around of the 21s, do you?
I could check. So I sell her the single vineyards at the winery, but only like 2 cases of each. I'll see what my colleague Erin has stocked away in her wine allotment and see how many she has. But
Well,
I'm sure we can make something happen if somebody wanted some 21.
if you
Like
don't have the
stock up.
21, maybe we just go back to the 19 or
Yeah, no. There's certain wines you will. Yeah, no. Well, you're a good friend, so yeah, maybe you can have a bottle or two. But no, you know what? It's funny you say 19. There's a track record of vintages, um, and 19 was a cool year. I've never crushed fruit, never picked fruit or processed fruit that late since I've taken over winemaking in the last 10 years. And the 19s are, for lack of a better word, low alcohol wines. They're like 12.2 natural alcohol. They're absolutely brilliant. They are absolutely brilliant wines.
Oh, yeah.
On a totally different level, right? Different than this. And I think, you, you get excited. Like when I go around and when I talk to the winemakers in the county that I kind of share a lot of similarities with. Generally speaking, it's the cool vintages that we all are like, oh my God, that wine is like
Yeah.
stellar. 'Cause it's not that the acids are super high, but there's a delicate nuance to the acids in there. They're nice and persistent. And then the fruit structure is a little bit different. Um, and they just have this ethereal quality that you just don't necessarily have when the year is warmer and the alcohol's a little bit higher. But that's what it is. And so 19 is one of those special years that if I can be absolutely honest with you, the wine that I might see how much I have left available in cellars, the 2017. The 2017 Church High Shard is awesome. It is awesome at 8 years old. It is
it's okay, you can
just kind of
swear.
it's kind of thank you. It's kind of coming. Well, I figured I could anyways, but it's coming into its own right now, and it's pretty delicious. Like it's got a couple years left in it. The South Clos is starting to kind of soften in its acids, but then the 17 is still pretty kick ass.
Well, the wonderful
You
But
know
thing,
that Mira and I are planning to go see you soon, right?
I didn't know
right?
that, but come on in. I got a place for you to stay. I'm empty nested. And then I got a brand new kitchen, so I'm happy to cook. We've got a room for you,
Keith, the
and
best
we
thing,
can drink the cellar.
the
Sorry, Jared.
best
Sorry,
things
Jared. Go
about
ahead.
meetings like these, when you talk about those back vintages, you are at least very much almost guaranteed talking to a crowd that knows, understands, appreciates, and will revel in whatever wine you choose to share with us. So, absolutely.
Well, then maybe next year when we're in the Okanagan, I'll bring some of those wines with me.
There you go. There you go. You know that you have your room here, right? When you come
I
over.
appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah. No.
Let's move
I,
on to
yeah.
2023
Let's go.
Pinots, okay? So first and foremost, we're
Hey,
gonna start with the
Carl.
cluster. Yes,
Carl, before we
yes.
move on to Pinots, I gotta give Keith a shout out, just real quick. So we went to Closson. I mean, we've been fans of Closson Chase for years. Being in Ottawa, it's our go-to spot. But heading there this summer, I texted Keith in advance and I said, "Look, we're coming with a group of people, and it'd be really cool if you could maybe stop by and say hello." Well, we got more than a hello. I think Keith, like you spent like over 2 hours with us, I think. Um, Walking the vineyard, tasting some back vintage wine, and our friends were just so overjoyed with the experience. I've said to Carl so many times, like this is more than just the wine. It's actually the community behind the winemaking and just loving the wine, and it's really cool. We're really having a great time, and I just want to thank you for your hospitality.
That's
Thank you.
Keith. That's Keith in a
Thank you.
nutshell, my friend.
It's my pleasure. I just thank you. Thank you for coming.
And
I'm trying to think, was that the day that we did the recap of, no, Jared and Lisa were there for the recap day,
Yeah,
right?
so
When we were recapping
yeah,
the
Jared and
the summer
Lisa were
event.
there before
Ah,
us.
Yes,
We had the sweat bees eating us alive
that's
the
true.
day, yeah, we did the tour.
Was I bandaged up still?
I can't remember.
No,
I don't
no,
think
I don't
so.
think so.
So then it must have been yours. It was yours then. Anyway, Carl and Mira need to go back and look at because Mira was videotape recording that Zoom call, and I was a bit of an ass that day. I was driving I have a small e-bike, and I was riding that to the ridge to get to the better Wi-Fi to get on my iPad so I could see everybody. And it was absolutely spectacular day. Was that your? It must have been your day. Anyway, I ate shit, and so I have scars now from where I took the road at 26 kilometers an hour. And so I'm interested if you can go back and look at that, because I'm pretty sure if you look at my feed-in thing, you'll see me showing you the side of the vineyard like this, and the next thing you'll see is the sky, because my phone ended up 10 feet away from me, and I ate shit for that. And then Carl proceeded to ask me how I thought about the event, everything. I'm like, dude, I'm all in, whatever you need, because I think I was pretty much in shock at that point, but it was interesting. Anyway, total tangent, total tangent.
I didn't even realize that. Oh my
Yeah,
God.
go back if you have the video saved. Go back and look at me specifically, and see if you can see, because you're going to see me come over and pick up my phone with my face on an angle. It'd be funny to see if it's
Oh
there
my
still. So anyway,
God.
maybe I shouldn't say that, but you know what? I don't care. I am who I am, and
I
I will
I'm
be
remember
who
you
I'll be.
okay.
answered, though. I
Oh,
clearly
I'm good.
remember what you said. Whatever you need, Carl. I'm all in. I
I'm
remember
all in.
that.
I'm
I
all
was
in.
like, fucking right. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that was a good one.
but
So anyway, sorry. Anyway,
I'll mirror Jeff's comment there. When we were out in Ontario there, like, we were just saying at the beginning of the call, we visited 30 vineyards on our trip. And Keith, you were by far and away the highlight of the entire trip. Like that
oh, thank
visit
you.
was absolutely the most memorable spot on that entire trip for us. So,
I
you know,
appreciate that. Thank you.
kudos to you. It was a great experience. I just want to, bring more people with us to visit you, because that was just amazing.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I just, I
So
just, I just love having people in the house. That's all it is.
that's Keith in a
Anyway,
nutshell.
move along, Carl. God, we get
Yeah,
out of here
no,
before
let's talk
we've done
about
one
Pinot,
wine and it's been an hour.
let's talk about the Pinots of the 2023s. First and foremost, let's talk about the Closson Chase Vineyard Pinot, the CCV 2023. I think, to my understanding, Closson Chase Vineyard, it's a little bit of all of the mostly South Clos and Churchside blended together. Do you have any other vineyard blending, or it's Churchside and South Clos together?
So so I make 3 wines from the estate. I make the Churchside, which is our largest production single vineyard, at just over 300 cases. The South Clos, which is roughly 120 cases, and then the remainder is split up between 2 other wines, the Vineyard, and then a new wine that I introduced in 2020 with the 2023 vintage called Hillier, which I did send you. And so this is roughly 75% Churchside, obviously because there's just more Pinot planted in the Churchside, just like
Yeah.
the Vineyard Chard is more South Clos because there's more Chard in the South Clos. So this is 75% Churchside and 25% South Clos. The thing is, and I didn't realize this, there's no new oak in this wine.
Okay, all neutral.
So, all neutral. Couple of second fills, so there's
Okay.
obviously some oak presence there. But and when we taste, everybody says, "Hey, I want to come taste with you." I'm like, "No, you don't." They're like, "Yeah, no, I want to come taste with you." I'm like, "I've had people come taste with me. I'm on barrel 10 or 12, and you're on barrel 3. So you don't want to taste with me because I don't play nice in the cellar. As my wife says, it's like being with Keith in the kitchen. It's his way or the highway, and you just got to keep up." Um, so 2023 was, we were fermenting this wine, and we were like, there's moments as a winemaker where you're like, okay, there's something extra special going on here. And that was 2023. It's been very common for me as a winemaker to, as Pinot gets to ripeness, it does a huge potassium dump, which means that it drops a shit ton of acid and your pHs rise quite quickly. That didn't happen in 23. There was still enough moisture in the ground that the vines were able to work through it a bit. But we had some dehydration, a little bit of desiccation. So in 2023, as we watched the pH move up very slightly, we also watched the bricks move up dramatically, because everything was just raisioning on the vine as the longer it sat out there while we were trying to pick it. So 2023 was over the top. The color extraction is amazing. The flavor profile is, the easiest way to say it is, I think 2023, what's in your glass is kind of like Prince Edward County meets Oregon, West Coast. We get the West Coast ripeness with the county acidity, and the fruit plays a different note. It doesn't become the big black, the more blacker fruits that generally are associated
That's what
with
I
Pinot from
noted
the
in my
West
notes.
Coast.
Absolutely. So 23 is a little bit of more of a bolder style with that county elegance, and the CCV, the Closson Chase Vineyard. I mean, now that I know that there is no new oak, it makes so much sense. It's fruity, like it's approachable. This wine has beautiful tension. There's a bright natural acidity, but the fruit is a little rounder than what I've tasted in the previous years. So more approachable, definitely. And yeah, I mean, 92 plus point for this wine. I mean, it's an abs. Yeah, definitely. I mean, this is, if it's the welcome card of what Closson Chase does in terms of Pinot Noir, I mean, that doesn't have the complexity of the church side. It doesn't have the length of the church side. It doesn't have the texture of the South Clos. But it is, to me, it's what you are doing in a nutshell. A bright natural acidity, beautiful lingering finish, nice layer, but this one is approachable. So yeah, 92 plus point. It's clean and pure as well. I don't know what other people think on that wine, but yeah, Mira, what's the price point on that?
$800 a bottle.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I thought we were talking Grand Cru Burgundy. Never mind. So I'll move on.
Hey, and Keith, after that,
it's $40 a bottle.
There you go.
Quickly, just so you know, this wine is sold out at the winery. So you guys are the only people that get an opportunity to purchase this wine. We released it on July 1st. We pulled it from we pulled it out of retail at the beginning of October, because we sold it quite quickly. So you guys get for lack of a better word, you guys get the last kick of the can. If there's something that you'd like of this wine, it's up to you.
Yeah, and so anyway, if we decide to order, like the group order a few more cases after you guys have, Aaron was saying that there's a bit of availability for this wine.
There's some room. I am absolutely astounded at how quickly this wine sold out. I shouldn't be, but I am. It's really nice because I like this wine. I want to drink this wine. I just want to drink it, right? Like it's just one of those wines I want to drink. But it's
I mean,
yeah,
at
I think that's
$40, Keith, Keith, this is a steal. This is a screaming deal. I mean, this is pure, clean, layered. There's everything in that for a $40. We're not in the premium, in the super premium category yet, and that over delivers
thank you.
big time.
Thank you.
That's for sure. I think Daryl was asking my score on the chart. So on the 94 points, Daryl, for the 23 church side.
I'm shooting from the 97 that Bell Shelter got last week. So just let's be clear.
Eh?
I said I saw that Thomas got a 97, so I'm shooting for that 97 now.
Yeah, so Thomas get 97. I think that was from Christopher Waters.
Yeah,
I gave Thomas his Foxcroft 96 points as my second highest
yeah,
rated wine of the
good.
year. The Foxcroft
Absolutely.
Arsenal is my number 2 wine of the year so far. Like every year. I mean, I don't want to go sideways too much, but yeah, Bachelor Foxcroft
No.
is
It's
always
good.
yeah, but you're at 94 with that 23.
I'm happy with 94.
Yeah, no, amazing, and I like the focus, and so I would like to hear about what people know. Jared, what do you think of the CCV here?
I mean, first time I tried it, it's delicious. Yeah,
That's right. Yeah, we didn't taste this when we were there.
no, it didn't. So, yeah, and I agree. Seal the deal at $40, and yeah, amazing.
Jared might be
So
a little bit speechless. He's not talking nearly as much as he usually does.
I had tasting notes in my brain, and then I was reading a different chat, and it sort of, fell out the side. So, but
So
Carl does such a good job, selling your wine and the flavor profile, and well, you get 92, 94 points. He's no James Suckling, so you're doing good.
that's true. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, no, this wine, it's funny because I was told and I learned from my predecessor that because Deborah taught me all about the concept of Burgundy, and now you're getting history. Holy shit, you're getting 25 years of history here. The idea that in Burgundy, the really good producers make a really exceptional Bourgogne Pinot Noir. And if you can start with the Bourgogne, and you have that wine and it has depth, texture, elegance, fruit, finesse, and all the things that you need, then what's the next level, right? When we start talking single vineyards, Premier Crus, I mean, the Grand Crus are the Grand Crus, so we don't even need to go there, and they're pretty much untouchable now for anybody who isn't, got a couple of commas in their income. The idea is that I want to drink really good wine, and so in 2023, because I do have some. Oh shit! Now I can't think of the word. I do have some carte blanche to do what I do with my wines. I said, you know what? I'm going to make another wine. I'm gonna blend the barrels together that I think best represent this place. After I do the South Clos and the church side, and then whatever doesn't, I don't think measures up to that standard to tell the story of this place and that year, I'll create a different wine. And so that's what I did. Where in the past it's kind of been like, well, we didn't use those barrels for there, so I guess they kind of got to go to here. Not that the church side, the vineyard was ever bad. I just don't think it was necessarily as focused, because as a winemaker and sustainability wise, it was like, okay, you got to put it all here. And now I'm kind of like, you know what? I don't need to do that. I don't need to go there, because the story is this. And this is the story of 23. And when you get to the church side and you get to the South Clos, it's a much more focused and longevity wise wine, right? I mean, I think this is drinking beautifully today. And there's no issue with this wine cellaring for 3 to 5 plus years. Whereas the church side and the South Clos are drinking fine now. They're still disjointed. And I think they'll drink better in 3 to 5 to 7 years. And I think that's a luxury that I have as a winemaker, is that, to quote somebody that I work with, I have time. I don't have to rush things. And I think as I get older, that is something that I truly do relish in, is the fact that I don't have to rush stuff. I don't have to meet a timeline or a deadline, because what I put in the bottle is hopefully the best of what the year has to offer. Anyway, sorry, sidetrack.
I think you brought an incredible point, Keith. It's about the Bourgogne wines from Burgundy, right? Their entry level. And I so agree with you. You can't, like, the one who produced that thing, and that, to me, that's the step above the Bourgogne, what you just made with the Closson Chase vineyard, right? You go with the step above, but this is your welcome card. To me, I tasted that this afternoon when I cracked it up, and I'm like, oh my God, this is so Peck. This is so Prince Edward County. It was just and I'm sure that's what you try to accomplish with that. And yeah, perfect, bang on. So I had the privilege. You sent me the Churchside 23 and the South Clos 23. I have the both open here. I hinted a few things to you before we brought everyone in. I would love to talk about it in a few minutes because these are incredible wine. The Churchside 23. We'll have to talk about that. But before that, this is something, I'm not sure if it's something new from you, Keith, but it's my first crack at it from the Danforth Ridge. And there's a different delivery on that. I'm not sure if it's from your estate, if it's a specific block that you've chosen, but to me, it's a little wild. It's a little wilder. Like there's something a little wild about it. It's a little more floral, a little bit more herbaceous to it. So tell me more about that wine, because I was like, oh my God, oh, what is that?
So you get the full story. So Danforth Ridge. So we're on Closson Road. There's kind of three growing, in the 20 plus years that I've been growing grapes in Prince Edward County. To me, there's three areas, there's three growing climates, or DVAs for lack of a better word, or microclimates, or whatever you want to call them, out on my end of the county. There's Wellington Lakeshore, which is the guys that are right on the lakeshore. Then there's Danforth Ridge, or Danforth Road, which is named after the road from Toronto, Danforth. And then there's Closson. And they're all three different elevations and different proximities, obviously, to the lake, different soil structures. And so the lakeshore generally tends to be slightly more sandy, with some clay and some silt with some limestone outcrops, a little more boulders and stuff in there as well. The next concession north, or otherwise known as the second concession, would be Danforth. And Danforth is the same street that both Carlo Estates is on, as well as Hub Creek. And Danforth Ridge was coined by the gentleman who owned that vineyard up to this year. They just sold in October, and Hubs Creek. And it's the north side of Danforth, which is a small, slightly elevated knoll that runs east to west from just behind Hubs Creek all the way to the Millennium Trail. And then it starts to peter out a bit. It's further south, so it's closer to the water. From Closson Chase, it's 3 kilometers in a straight line. Oh, perfect, Mira. This is awesome.
I'm telling you, she is
That
the
is
freaking
great.
best.
Look at this. So, so if you look and you see the dot where Wellington is, and if you look to my upper left, which would be everybody else's upper left, you'll see the 2 little dots there. I assume the one on the north side of the road would be Hubs Creek, and the one on the south side of the road would be Carlo. Just past Hubs Creek, which is the dot on the north side, you're looking just past Chase Road. You come to this vineyard. And this is a private vineyard that was 3 acres of Pinot Noir, and it had 3 rows of Riesling in it when we took it over in 2020.
So
Previously,
you're saying somewhere between Wellington and Hillier here?
Yeah. So if okay, you got your pointer there.
Yeah.
So if you go to the top, so just above your red circle, you see the 2 dots.
Uh-huh.
So the top north dot, if you were to just go just on the other side,
Yeah,
No,
around here.
no,
no,
just
further
right
south.
above Wellington. There's 2
Yeah,
dots.
further
There's
south,
two
way
little
further
dots
south.
above
Yeah.
Woodington. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
here.
So
You
Okay.
yeah,
got
so
it.
if you
You
go
got it.
just to the left, you can see that there's Danforth Road there. It's right there. And
Oh, there.
this is on a very stony outcrop. There's absolutely no soil here, none whatsoever. And it is both a very fertile soil, but also exceptionally dry. And we don't irrigate in the county. And so you get a different sense of concentration. And this site is literally, so we at Closson Chase are 5 kilometers away from the water. This is less than 2 kilometers in a straight line away from the water. And yeah, exactly. And so it has a huge moderating influence in it. So it has less of a diurnal temperature differentiation between nighttime highs and daytime lows because of the water during the summer. But as the spring starts, it's a delayed bud break, and therefore it generally takes a little bit longer to get ripe. In 2023, because I had to look back at my notes, not for this episode, but for something else I was looking at. I was actually putting this wine to do a data sheet or something like that. And we picked this vineyard first. So this vineyard came off at 22 and a half bricks. Unlike this year where it came off at over 23, because we
Oh,
picked it
wow.
last, because it needed more hang time to get to the physiological ripeness level. This was the first vineyard that came off. And so the alcohol in the back label here lies a little bit because this is closer to 12.8 than it is the 13.5. Where the last one is closer to 13.9 than it is to 13.5. And that is just all proximity and growing area. So that sense of, well, let's be honest, it's dirty. This wine is dirty. It smells like dirt. It smells like mushroom. It smells like truffles. It's got
A
smoke in
little
it.
wilder. Yeah, exactly.
The cherry is very bright red cherry. There's a stinky floral nuance to it.
There's an herbaceousness too, right? Like
Absolutely.
something herbal to it. Not
Yeah.
green, but herbal.
No. There's a fried herb here. Whether it's fried sage or fried thyme, there's something that's got that nuance to it. And it's kind of funny because I thought the little bit of smoky tone in here might have been Brett number 4 because I've experienced that before in my winemaking. And I should talk about that for a quick sec too. I'm not a super clean winemaker. I don't believe that's the way to make wine. I think you do what you can and you let the wine say what it is. I'm not a huge proponent of Brett. Just like I'm not a VA or ethyl acetate, but those are the 3 common things that we see. And I'm okay with faults. I mean, you taste my wine, and if there's a bit of fault in my wine, I'm okay with that because I think it adds complexity and layers. But the one big thing that was here was that there's a smoky nuance to this wine, almost like charred wood. And to me, that's not Brett 4. But I was second guess myself, as we all do. And this year, when we harvested this vineyard under similar conditions, under drought conditions, the juice, when we destemmed the grapes and put them in the fermenter, they were smoky. And I don't know how to describe it to you. I handed it to Braden, my assistant. I was like, dude, the smoke is right fucking there. Like you can smell that smoke. And he's like, shit, you can. Like it's there. So it's a product of the vineyard. And how it comes out is unique to itself. Because I had this wine a month ago and it wasn't there. It was all red fruit and florals and a savory kind of rosemary thyme nuance to it.
Yeah.
And I just smelt it tonight and it's got that smoke back a bit. It's got the mushroom tones, it's that potpourri, it's that dried flower nuance, but it's got this bright cherry. So it's a unique wine. It's a 3-acre parcel. The vines were planted between 2015 and 2017. It's on a larger, smaller density. So the vines are roughly planted 9 feet by 4 feet, which means there's less vines per acreage. We're up around 1,100, 1,200 vines per acre. Where at Closson, we're 4 by 6.5, which gives us 1,600 vines to the acre. So there's a little more space for these vines to go. It's a little bit younger fruit because of that. I mean, you're talking an extra 10 years of age in Closson than you are here. ultimately, I love this wine. There's no new oak in this wine whatsoever. And 30%, not 30%, do the math, Keith, quickly. 20% of this wine is stainless steel. So
Okay.
the pressed juice was aged for 18 months in a 300-liter stainless steel barrel. And the idea there was to preserve the freshness and the fruit in it. And everything else was in used 228s. 2024 is similar. 2025 sees nothing but good oak treatment for this wine because the vines are officially 10 years old. And it's been my experience that at 9 to 10 years old, the vines can take a little bit more oak regimen. But there's no new oak in this wine. And I don't think this wine needs new oak. If I was given a choice, and my hope is in a couple of years, because if you guys were at Leading Post as Ilya was pouring us 18 wines for his tasting, which was phenomenal, and I say that with love. I truly do, because I walked away with some bottles of Syrah. As most of you know, that's my third go-to grape. I was able to sneak away and look at his concrete fermenters, and I think this wine would absolutely sing if I was able to ferment it in concrete. This wine reminds me a lot of Alsatian Pinot Noir, with that bright floral texture, the bright acid that comes out of this wine, as well as those earth tones, and those slightly, for lack of a better word, for me, it's I'm very fortunate that I grew up in just outside of Kingston, and I would go through walks with my mom and our dog at that point through some of the conservation areas in the fall. And this has that composting leaf, earthy kind of brushy tone to it that reminds me very much of that experience.
That
And
potpourri,
so,
I think that the potpourri is the
right,
perfect denominator with herb in there. Yeah, absolutely. I
so
100% agree.
anyway,
100% agree.
that's this wine.
That's
I
funny because I
think
was
it's cool.
Keith, I just came up like I said to everyone, I just came up tasting all of the Thomas Batchelder wine, Pinot Noir and Chardonnay, and the Wild West End. It's one little block off the Wismer Park, and it's an
Right.
unknown clone of that. And this wine always stands out as a completely different. And that reminded me, I told Mira this afternoon, it's like, that reminds me the Wild West End. Wilder, a little bit like something wild coming out of
It's
that
gamey,
one. Yeah, gamey. Maybe
gamey.
that's what you refer with the smokiness a little bit.
Yeah,
Like to me, that was like the meaty, gamey. Yeah,
yeah.
completely different than what you get with the Churchside Vineyard, which is on fruit. And yeah, it's really, really wild. I love it. I absolutely love it.
I love making Pinot Noir. I truly do. I love Chardonnay. Let's be absolutely honest. I love making all the grapes that I grow. Pinot Gris is my fun just drink every day. It can be complicated. It can be complex. But I just crack a bottle. It was funny. I was saying to my wife today, I'm like, I just miss drinking Pinot Gris through the summer. And then Chardonnay is kind of like, you know what? I drink it when it's young and when it's fresh. If it's unoaked, I'll drink it all the time. And then my age stuff, I want 4 to 6 years on. But for Pinot, I don't know. I want to see its development. I want to see how it evolves. I want to see how it changes, and see to where it goes to. And this is kind of cool because I don't know this vineyard, right? We've been farming it for 5 years, and I'm slowly starting to learn it and get to it. And I think it's a really cool site that tells a different story. Um, and I want to own it all. I want to tell this story for as long as I can tell this story because I think it's pretty cool wine, right?
It is.
And it's this. So this is a little bit different. 23 was a little bit different because we had a little bit of. So for those, well, I mean, I know Jared and Stacy and Lisa and sorry, Jeff and Stacy and Lisa and Jared have both been to the winery. And so in 2023, we fermented this in a combination of oak tonneau, so 600-liter fermenters, and the plastic 1-ton micro fermenters. And in 2024 and 2025, we had enough tonnage that this actually got fermented in a large 60 hectoliter barrique or a tonneau. So it's a bit of a different character moving forward. But I'm excited to tell the story of this place, and you'll see a little bit of my character, my personality coming through in the wines because I like fruit, and fruit should be the one thing that drives. And I think the great thing about Pinot is as you allow Pinot to age, it goes savory. Unlike a lot of other wines that go, earthy or leathery, Pinot goes savory. And I think that's kind of cool. So you get that red fruit along with those savory tones. So
I love the
Well,
smoke and the funk and whatnot on this wine too.
thank
It's
you.
so unique and amazing, and just begs for a good, smoky pepperoni charcuterie board.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah, absolutely.
Jared, I will borrow the term funk for my tasting notes if you don't mind. I think you just absolutely nailed it. Funk, that's exactly what I was looking for. So I'm with you. I don't know if anyone has comments about the Danforth Ridge, but I would like to hint a few things after on the South Clo and the Church side 2023. I mean, I think that yeah, the church site Chardonnay. I have a feeling that Keith, 2023 is your vintage. You own that vintage. Like that's what I'm feeling right now. Tasting that 23 release, you are right back in your game. It's the precision, the density, the focus of the wines are incredible. I want to say that the church side 2023 Pinot Noir will be in my top 10 wine of the year.
Oh, thank you.
This is a top 10 wine of the year.
Thank you.
The color of that wine, I don't think I've ever seen an extraction like that out of Closson Chase. It's darker as ever. It still needs some time. This wine is
Oh
a
yeah, yeah,
baby.
yeah.
Like it's such a baby. It's a projection game here. But Jesus Christ, holy shit. The structure of that wine, the tannins, the fruit extraction, there's everything in the finish. There's a salinity in the wine that I get the same type of finish, the same type of salinity in the Chardonnay that I get in the Pinot. That's terroir here, my friend. It is
Thank you.
terroir at its best. I mean, you're nearing 95 points on that wine. It is
Oh, thank you.
the top, one of the very, very top, if not the top, the Pinot that I tasted this year. I just
Thank you.
rated the Batchelder. This is right at the top here.
Appreciate that.
But I mean, there's nothing like that. It's Peck, it's Prince Edward County at its best. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. So this
Yeah.
is just a tease. Sorry, guys. I'm the, but I know that Mira gave me the eyes earlier when she had a sip of that. She was like, where is that on the list? I was like, I know that was just a little on the side thing here, but holy shit, that it's good.
Oh, Jeff, come on down to the county. You can taste it. Happily do it with you, my friend, anytime. Now, you know what? The 2023, I've been making wine and growing grapes in Prince Edward County for over 20 years. And I've had some good vintages. 2023 was a learning curve as well as an excitement curve to see the fruit come in the way it came in. I've been fortunate enough to be able to grow fruit in '07, which was probably the best year in the county as far as ripeness goes. Um, and 2023 is pretty spectacular.
Hey,
And
Keith.
I'm older, and I'm
Hey,
older,
Keith.
I think I know a little bit more. Yes, sir.
How does the 22, how the 23 compare to the 22? Because we were tasting the 22. I'm
Right.
sure I got a few bottles when we visited you.
Is that the church side Pinot or?
Uh, yeah, the church side. We got both South Clo and church side this summer, I think.
Oh, I sold you South Clos Pinot. Good for you.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, yeah. I twisted your
That
arm.
wine is phenomenal. 2022 Churchside is exceptional. You know what you'll find, in my opinion, is you're gonna find a lot of the similarities. So for me, the Churchside is all about there's a spicy tone. There's kind of a cinnamon, clove, nutmeg, and that dried flower kind of potpourri nuance with those bright red fruits. That's been consistent through almost every vintage. 2022 generally tends to be a little uh, not as viscous in the palate, um, just because of the growing season.
Keith, was
Um,
it the wine that we featured at the Pan Canadian?
no,
Churchside
we
22? No.
no,
No, I
we
think
didn't do any
we
22s.
featured a 21 at the Pan Canadian, I believe.
Yeah, what did I do at the Pan Canadian? No, we did
Anyway,
22. You're right. We did 22. We did 22 South Clos.
22 Church. Oh
We did
yeah, yeah,
22
yeah,
South
exactly.
Clos, and we did it with my brother from the Portuguese mother,
Yes.
Mr. De Silva, with his.
AKA Richard De Silva.
Yeah, and yeah. Well, the 22 South Clos is pretty special to me. But the Churchside 22 has a lot of. It's elegant. It's very similar to the 19. Acids are slightly elevated. So the fruit isn't as rich and it isn't as dense as the 23. So the 23, obviously, as you're tasting the two that you've had, the 2023 has a lot more fruit density to it, a lot more texture, but it has exactly what Carl is saying. Is it when I poured this wine twice in the last 2 weeks. I poured it at the uh, Great Canadian Kitchen Party in Toronto, where I thought it was closed. But one of another wine critic who I was standing beside said, "This wine, when I taste this wine, it says it's 100% Prince Edward County, and not only does it say it's 100% Prince Edward County, but she said the tannic structure in it tells me that it's from you and it's from the church side." And I was like, "Well, thank you," because to me, the ability to tell the story of a wine from a place is huge, and so that was a great thing. Um, Bless you. When the 2022 South Clos, if you have it, congratulations. I made less than 70 cases of that wine. It's a wine that is both near and dear to my heart, and I think it's the first exposure to the 2023 and the direction that I'm moving in Pinot, so that the Pinots can drink exceptionally well young, but you're going to taste a little more oak contribution early, which I'm sure Carl's about to say about the 2023 South Clos. And the idea is that wine is not available. I gave it to Carl, sorry guys, so that he could understand where it is now, and then he'll understand where it is when I send it to him next year in July, after it's had a year in bottle, to develop to where it needs to be. And that for me is what I want to do. So, but the 2022 and the 2023 tell a similar story. The difference is, to be honest with you, is the vintage. And 2022 being a little bit cooler, 2023 having a little bit more concentration, a little bit more richness. I think that's what you see. And not that either one is more inferior than the other. They're just two different stories from the same place. And I think that's the kind of cool thing, from the same guy. And then and, in
The oak
2024,
stands out.
2024 is going to tell a different story too.
The oak stands out a little bit more on the South Clos than it does on the church side for the 23. At this moment, I can smell the oak a little bit more on
Of course you
the
can.
South Clos.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like chocolate and
Yeah,
coffee and cola.
yeah,
To me,
exactly.
to
Old
me, it's
Spice.
all that coffee crisp nuance, which is that chocolate and coffee mocha nuance. But if you give it some time and it opens up, then you get all that fruit, and the fruit for the South Clos. Because what I always say as a winemaker, all I'm trying to do is capture the moment that I pick that fruit. All I'm trying to do is take that one day when I say the fruit needs to be picked today and give you that wine. And I think in 2023, you see what I'm trying to accomplish, because the fruit from the church side is what I call more red based fruits. And the church side and the South Clos is the more blue black based fruits. To me,
Yeah.
the South Clos is more of that blueberry tea, blueberry pie filling nuance. And I love that shit. And so that's what I'm trying to do is not give so much of me that I take that away. But I also want, and I also know from my previous history, I don't mind oak in a ripe year in Pinot. And I know from history that in 3 to 5 years, that oak is going to subside and kind of meld into the background. And it's still going to add weight and structure, but then you're going to get all those blue and black fruits with all these earth tones and that beautiful tannic tea-like structure that the South Clos gives us with that super kind of beetrooty, dirt candy nuance. And to me, that is something special because it's savory, but it's still fruity. And that becomes the next conversation that we have.
This is Côte de Nuit now. Like you're more on the more structured side. This is Côte de Nuit.
Don't compare me to Burgundy, my friend. Don't compare me to Burgundy. I love the nuance and I love it all. But
before we end that, I need to tell people, okay, a quick little story about Burgundy and you and me. A couple of weeks ago, about 3 weeks ago, Mira and I, like as you guys all know, we're putting together a trip for our members to Burgundy in June coming up, and we were in our scouting trip out there, and obviously we had to go to the DRC, to the Domaine La Romanée Conti at the Wall, and we had to go do a pilgrimage, right? And we brought Canadian wine with us. So we had a case of Canadian wines. And when we went to the Wall, we had a bottle of De Silva, a bottle of Salt Clos from Keith, the 2022 Salt Clos, and we had a bottle of Batchelder. And we opened the bottle of Salt Clos. We pour each other a glass. We cheers, and I said, fuck that. I pick up my phone and I call Keith without looking at the time. So it's the middle of the afternoon in France, and I didn't realize that it was pretty early morning in Prince Edward County. And he's picking up the phone. He's like, Carl, hello? I think it was like 7:30 a.m. for him. And I said, guess where I'm at? He said, I don't know. It's pretty early here, Carl. What's going on?
You're not in BC. You're not in BC.
Right.
So I'm like, hey, I'm sitting there you go. I'm at the DRC at the Wall. I just poured a glass of South Clos, Closson Chase. I wanted to do a little cheer for you, my friend. And guess what he says? He said, fuck you, Carl. That was the absolutely. With all the love in the world. So
I love it. Yeah. Oh, look at that. That's awesome. That is awesome.
So there you go. I had to tell the story. Sorry, Keith.
That's great. No, it's all good, my friend. It's the only vineyard I've ever visited in my life where I've been verklempt, where I was just ear to ear smiles to the fact that I was able to physically see where some of the greatest Pinot Noir in this entire world is created. And to stand there and know that behind me is Domaine de la Romanée Conti, La Romaine, and in front of me is Romanée Saint Vivant, which started my whole journey into the world of Pinot.
And you also live in one of the places in the world where some of the best Pinot is created.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that, sir. Fantastic. Free bottle for you. Keep pushing it.
I do have a question.
No.
Yes. You mentioned that this year was one of the most drought conditions that you've seen since in a long time. What was your yield like this year?
So it's kind of funny, right? Well, it's funny to me. I don't. So I estimated my crop at the beginning of the season at about 1.8 tons an acre, and then they asked me to re-estimate. So I can tell the whole story. So outside of what I do at Closson Chase, I also sit on the growers committee with the Great Growers of Ontario. Mm-hmm. I also taste wine through the VQA appeals panel. So if I tasted a wine on a day and it got VQA and it doesn't taste good, you can blame me for that. But if I wasn't there, you can't. So the Great Growers of Ontario, because I'm a fastidious grower in Prince Edward County, and I know people at the GGO, I'm asked about yields. So I estimated my yields at the beginning of June at 1.8 actually at flowering at about 1.8 tons per acre. And we had the wettest May on record, and then we had the driest June, and we had the driest July. So when they asked for my second crop load, I was like, well, it's dry, and I don't foresee it stopping, so I'll take a 20% hit. So I reduced my crop yields to 1.6 tons per acre. So this year we came in on average across the board, with the exception of Churchside Chardonnay. We came in at 1.4 tons per acre.
Yeah.
And then the Churchside Chardonnay came in at an abysmal 1.1% Chardonnay, 1.1 tons per acre. What the difference is that the Churchside Chardonnay came in at 24.9 bricks. So just to give you an idea, that's a natural alcohol if I can ferment it dry to 14.5%.
Wow.
The South Clos, which hung a little bit longer, came in at 23.8. So I'm anticipating some decent Chardonnays from 2025.
Just
but
not many of them.
Just not a lot of Churchside. So the Churchside Chard may go down to 100 cases or just so there. And the South Clos will also drop in quantity because I sell a lot of vineyard Chardonnay. So I'll need to make more $40 bottles of Chardonnay than I will to make the $50 and the $60 bottles of Chardonnay. But the fruit is exceptional. We're making a new wine this year, which maybe we could do a little bit of a Carl's Wine Club with. I shouldn't say this now. This year we had a single acre of Chardonnay that we planted 5 years ago come online at a vineyard that we no longer use called Coal Creek. And then we had another acre of Chardonnay come online at the same Danforth Ridge vineyard. And then we also deviated a half acre of Chardonnay from the Ridge vineyard where I grow most of my Pinot Gris into this wine. And ultimately, I could foresee some unoaked Chardonnay being blended into this from the estate. So we'll make what's called a Hillier Chardonnay, which will be the locale. So to me, the Hillier becomes my Bourgogne. The vineyard becomes my village. And then I have my two Premier Crus. And hopefully someday, knock on wood, one of those two Premier Crus will be recognized as a unique site, and people will say, you know what, this is
Grand Cru. This is Grand Cru.
But that's not for me to say. I don't, as a winemaker, ever think that my wines are worthy of that status. But those who consume it will be able to eventually say, yeah, you know what, this is a unique place for this varietal that grows in this climate, in this place. And hopefully they'll be able to say, and I have 10 years of this in my cellar, and it drinks beautifully at 10 years old. And that's what I go for.
I'll drive the train. I will be the leader and bring people with me to pound the door and say, hey, we need a Grand Cru appellation in Prince Edward County. We know the guy. Keith, what you're doing is absolutely incredible. So you know what? I'm just going to open the floor for a few questions. It is late on your side of the country, so I would like to let you go. If anyone has He's pouring another glass, so we're good to go.
Yeah, I figure I gotta stay hydrated while I'm talking. So just me and the dog, and then to go watch TV with my wife.
So Keith, do you do all of your own vineyard managing, or do you have a vineyard manager?
I have a vineyard manager, but I'm the viticulturalist as well as the winemaker. So we grow grapes to how I want them grown. My vineyard manager's been with me for 10 years. This is his 11th vintage. So we have a very symbiotic relationship. Like, he understands what needs to occur to get to the fruit quality that I'm looking for. But he always defers to me. And after the 22 vintage, he definitely refers to me because it's what I gotta work with, and I want to be able to have the best fruit possible, to be able to make the best wine possible, to tell the story from the place. So that's so good. Yeah. So if you don't like the wine, that's on me. from bud break
No,
to harvest, right?
Chardonnay is exceptional for sure.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, thank you.
Keith,
Unfortunately, Chris didn't get his tasting pack, so I just stole one out of my cellar
Oh,
for him
no.
to have. Well,
thank you.
he has to drive 6 hours from Calgary, so he couldn't
Oh,
get his
shit.
tasting pack before we did it. So it's like, here's one for you to try while you're waiting for your pack.
And thank you, Jared and Lisa, for supplying that for me.
Oh, you're welcome.
You can take my 2023. Thank you for the 21.
Well, we
For
gave you
some
one that was
reason, I had to
$6
go
one.
all the way to the grower's place to get mine.
Oh, yes, I heard about that fuck up.
Yeah.
I heard all about that. Yeah.
It was a nice day for a drive.
Your wine showed up with the great growers checks.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
just to give some reference to it, in Ontario, the 15th of November is when we as wineries are required to have our checks submitted to the grape growers from the people that we purchase fruit from.
Okay.
And yours was supposed to be sent to your address, but apparently somehow got screwed up and ended up in St. Catharines at 13th Street and the QEW. So thank you for going and pick it up, because I'd love to have you guys on this conversation. So it's been fun.
Well, it was a lovely day for a drive. A little too cold for top down and Little Red, but it was a lovely day for a drive.
I promise I'll make that up to you when you come.
Okay.
Deal.
Hey, Keith.
I love that.
Chef. I would like to mention there's another wine that I had in the 23 release. Would you like to, because I just had the first sip. I was so busy dissecting the church side and the south flow that I just had the first sip of this wine. So this is a Sterling Barrique 2023. Can you tell me a little bit more about that? Tell us a little bit more about that.
Sure. First off, I heard Jared sigh, so I'll defer to Jared. Hey, Jared, how does that one taste?
I don't know. I haven't
You
had
don't
it.
have it.
Oh, I gave it to you when you left my winery 6 months ago.
Oh.
Okay. Well, in that case, it tasted amazing because we drank all of those.
So so I think the Sterling Barrique is drinking the best right now of the single vineyards. So the Sterling Barrique is a bit of a unique story. So I'm just laughing at Jeff's comment.
There's a bunch of fuck you going on here.
Yeah, there's a bunch of FUs going back and forth. So
I like that.
So the Sterling Barrique came about because early on, everybody was here saying, well, there's a Cooper in the county. Are you using his barrels? And I said, yes, we are. They're in Chardonnay. And everybody's like, well, and we were just at that point blending it into the vineyard Chardonnay. And in 2017, I was going through the cell and I said, you know what? We have 5 of these barrels. So, you know what? Let's make 100 cases of this wine. It gives me, as a winemaker, an option to deviate 1 barrel out of the program so that we can do that based upon how they taste. So we started making this wine in 2017. Or aging this wine is probably more appropriate. So this wine that you have, there is nobody in Canada that makes this wine or this style of wine. This is hyper local. So Sterling is a community, a village, a town, a suburb, whatever you want to call it, a hamlet, just north of Belleville. And Belleville is the closest city to us on the 401. So it's roughly 40 to 45 minutes away. Population, maybe 5,000 people. Pete Bradford, who used to own the County Carriage Cooperage House, was approached by a farmer who said, listen, I've got this really old oak tree in my hedgerow that I'm going to clear. And I understand it's a white oak and that white oak makes wine barrels. Would you like this tree? And Pete said, yes, please, can I have that tree? And at the same point in 2010, when the tree was cut down, he approached Deborah and said, listen, I have this tree. It's a 300-year-old oak tree. I've done the measurements on it. I think I can make 10 barrels from this tree. Would you pre-commit to buying the 10 barrels that I'll make, and I'll have them ready for you in 2013? And Deborah said yes. Third smart decision she made. And what happened from it was in 2013, we ended up getting 8 barrels, which we used in Chardonnay. I was not on that side of the business in 2013 when this was first made, but I do remember previous vintages where we had some Canadian oak, and to me it was not conducive to Chardonnay. It was very tropical. It produced a lot of pineapple, a lot of coconut. It didn't give the profile that French oak did. Not that all wine barrels have to give the French oak profile, but I do think they need to be a little bit more restrained. This was quite heavy. And so Deborah used them in 2013. I didn't use any in 2015, and I didn't use them in 2016. And in the time frame, a lot of people were saying, well, what about this guy? Why aren't you using County Oak? You should be using County Oak. Other people use County Oak. So I said, fuck it. I've got 5 barrels. I'm going to fill them full of Pinot, because through conversations through another Carl's Wine Club friend, a gentleman named Derek Barnett, I tasted his Canadian Oak Pinot Noir, which he was making at Lely Vineyard in the day.
Yeah.
And Derek and I had several conversations about it. And he said, Keith, Canadian Oak is way over the top when it's young. He said, but wait till you get your 3rd and your 4th and your 5th wine in it. You'll see what it comes to. You really get to understand how it contributes to the wine. I said, okay. And I take cues from people that know way more shit than I do. And so we started making this wine in 2017. We made 100 cases because it was only 4 barrels. And then we made it again in 2019. We made it again in 2021. And then we made it again in 2023. And so this is a oak tree that has been grown, harvested, less than 60 kilometers, 40 kilometers from my house, from the winery, coopered in the county, charred in the county, and only contains county wine. So other than potentially a forest like Botrange outside of Côte-de-Nuit in Burgundy, nobody gets oak that's closer to their place than this wine is. This is 100% churchside fruit. The 2023 is, again, a 4-barrel blend. As opposed to 2021, this blend is 100% free run juice. And I think it is probably, in my opinion, the best example of churchside Chardonnay aged in Sterling Barrique. So Sterling is the town, Barrique is the French word for barrel. I know it refers more to a 235, but I thought, you know what, if you're going to try and describe where it comes from and what it's been aged in, do this. And so we make it every other year. So this is 23. So guess what? This year's 25. So we're making it again. And we'll see how it goes. But I enjoy this wine. I think it's a total different.
I enjoy it
Carl,
too.
Carl has both of them. So the church side and this wine are, even though they're the same juice, they're completely different wines.
Oh my God. Like there's chocolate in there. Like there's that like milk chocolate coming out. There's a little bit of oak spice, but not that cinnamon or cloves that you're used to. It's more caramel type of like a finish. It's really interesting. Super soft fruit too. I like that. I like that. Like, I mean, I put a 91 points on the bottom of my glass here. So I mean,
I'll take
I
that.
knew there was something different. I knew there was something out of the Closson Chase that I usually taste. That's why I wanted to ask at the end, like, okay, so I'm surprised to see that there's the church side fruit. And yeah, this is super fun. I think if I can have one word, I would say this is super fun.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And I think that's what it is. For me,
Playful.
It's that actually is probably the best descriptor for it, because it's Pinot Noir. It's Pinot Noir from the church side, but it's a completely different version of that wine. And I think it is just exactly that. It's fun. And it's age worthy. It's not like it's going to fall apart anytime soon. There's lots of structure. There's lots of weight. There's lots of texture. There's elegance. There's finesse. There's all those things. So it's just a different expression of Pinot Noir. And I think that's why when I said I'm a barrelhead, it's about trying to figure out how to tell the story with the oak that we are allowed to play with. So thank you.
Such a great story. I love that. Is it going to be possible to put that on the list for the?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, we're
Perfect.
down to our. So I only made 100 cases. Everybody was starved for Pinot, so this was the first one we released, and then we released the Vineyard, and the Vineyard surpassed it. Maybe because it's $5 less a bottle. I don't know, but they're just different animals. So there's about 30 cases of the Danforth left, but and it's still available on the tasting bar as of today. Yeah, so it's there for you. So if you like it, and I think it, like I said, I think it's drinking right now while the church side isn't.
Yeah, it's super fun. Wow, super playful. Love it. Thank you so much, Keith.
My pleasure.
I don't know if you followed. I don't know if you followed the text here. I don't know if you followed the comments, but I think there's a girl's trip, like it's being on the go on the. So I'm sorry. We were here to taste wine and have fun, and it's ended up that you're gonna host a girl trip to the county.
A girls trip with potentially some people sneaking in with wigs, just to be able to legs.
Yeah, because there's no way my wife is going to go visit without me going along.
Yeah, that's right. I'm not going without Carl. Sorry, girls. But we can do a girls' night while we're there. We can do that. But it's still fun. I let out the cat out of the bag. Our trick is we find the super cheap flights like Flair Air. Sometimes even Porter does these crazy cheap flights, like under $200 all in return from Vancouver or Calgary. So, it's less than a tank of gas these days on a big car.
Less than a dinner out.
Yeah, and if you take the red eye, you save on a hotel too. So there you go, and then you can buy more wine.
It's not usually the flight; it's the lodging and the rental car and all the other, and the wine. Actually, that's the worst part.
Wine.
It's the wine. Let's be honest here.
Yeah.
That's what we save all the money for.
I would tell everyone we need to stock up on 23 South Clowen Church side, on the Pinot side, guys. These wines are incredible. I would say follow the scores who are going to coming out in the next 6 months, because I won't be surprised to see Wine Align rate these wines 95 and above. These wines are incredibly exceptional. So
just to be clear, the South Clos doesn't go anywhere. So the South Clos has such a following at the winery that we don't release this wine before July of the following vintage, and most of it gets sold within the wine club. But you're my wine club too, so you guys get preferential treatment as well. But Carl can't put a score on that, because if you put a score on it right now, we'd rate it 88 because it's not ready to drink. So I appreciate that.
Oh, but the projection game is very easy to do. That seems very fucking easy here. I mean, like I had harder work to do before. This one of the easiest projection I had. I mean, I can see it. I can taste it. The texture is something else, like right away. Like the oak is gonna melt, mellow down over the next 18 months. But I love it. I fucking love the oak. I love it. So, and on the other side, church side to me is a little harder to project because the structure, the wine is still rugged. but
Right.
fuck me, the layers and the complexity, it's absolutely crazy. And
Thank
when
you.
I get the same finish on the Pinot and on the Chard from the same, I
That's crazy.
just, it gets me. Oh man, it's a pure moment of geekiness that's happening in my body. I mean, I when I connect Pinot and Chard from the same place and I get the same finish, to me it gives me a
that's
wine
awesome.
orgasm. So
We got onto all sorts of topics. This is such a great picture, you guys. Jeff and
That's
Stacy.
awesome.
Looks like you guys had so much fun. Okay, so it's confirmed. We need to do a club trip to see you, Keith.
I was gonna
Fantastic.
say, let's just have one of the
More-
Pan-Canadians there.
Yes, that's a very good point. Very good point.
I would love that to happen, but yeah, okay.
We can
That's
all
a
stay
whole
in your
other
house, right?
That's a whole other yeah, you can stay at my house. I got lots of space. We can put up tents and small houses in the side field. We can't be here. Oh, I guess we could be here on a Saturday. It's fine. I have to talk to my wife about that. We could all rent bikes. We could put everybody on a bike and go for a trip.
Okay, e-bikes
Because
with
my
a
wife
cherry.
owns a
I can
bike.
be in the
My wife
chariot
owns a
part.
bike rental business, so we can all do e-bikes and go where we need to go.
I agree.
And
It
those who
might
don't
need
want to
to
ride,
be
we
on
can throw in a van.
yeah, might need a van.
That's fine.
Someone's
we can do
got
that.
a
That's
camper
not an
van.
issue.
Has been volunteered. So
We can do
all
that.
right.
All right, it's in the works.
I got connections. Maybe some of you can get in a limo too.
that's it. That's it. I'm a limo guy.
But seriously, we've
Bug the
never
bike.
been to Peck. We've driven by a few times. So Carl and I have been planning a bit of a back vintage Riesling tasting for the off season this winter.
Oh,
We've
fantastic.
convinced Vineland and possibly Cave Springs to give up some of their
sweet.
very, very old bottles to do a big vertical with us
That would
and
be awesome.
members and talk about the birthplace of Riesling, in Canada and all that, which I think is a great winter activity paired with maybe
Absolutely.
like poutine and sausage or something like that, right?
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is if we're going to be there for that, we definitely need to extend the trip by a couple days and come out to Prince Edward County and see you. So sounds like
Awesome.
it could be a fun thing.
Yeah, we'll get a whole bunch of my friends together and we'll go do it.
Sandy's excited about the limo. Yeah, let's figure this out.
And we'll make dinner.
That's amazing. I love it.
I'll make dinner. I love it. That sounds great.
We'll have to bring some Syrah from out west. So
and it sounds like I don't know, but if Dale makes it out there, it sounds like he might be trying to surprise you with some Syrah. So
oh God,
we'll
yeah,
see
you
what
mentioned
happens.
Syrah. We did a few months ago. We did a Canadian Syrah flight. I hosted one here in town for all the people who hadn't experienced good Canadian Syrah, and it was pretty much all Ontario Syrah. And then we threw in one bottle of Hermitage, which I'm ashamed to say won half the votes of the table. So the $300 bottle beat the $50 bottles, but
oh my God, you would never guess.
Right? Yeah.
Only by half the table. Half of that other table liked something else.
That is amazing.
Awesome. Well, Ilya's
Ilya's Syrah was at the table.
The Kazan Syrah 2020 was the wine that won at gold medal plates in Toronto. So
when we were out there,
Toronto, so it's good.
We bought a bunch of his current vintage, and then we got a 12 and a 16, I think, out of his cellar as well. Like, just pulled a couple of back vintages, just delicious.
Damn. Apparently, you know somebody I don't know. That's not fair. What the hell's going on? I gotta follow up on that, right?
We were just shopping in his back room, like.
Well, yeah, sure. Right.
You should pull your Pan-Canadian card. This is the
exactly right.
This
like
is the
what the hell?
shopping card.
Yeah. I just bought like 4 bottles. Why can't you introduce me to the cellar? Guess I don't buy enough. Fair enough. Just a starving winemaker out here spending way too much money on BC Syrah.
I did have to pay for it. I will say that.
Oh, I have no issue paying for it.
Keith,
we all got to make money.
You just need to come shopping in our cellar and come enjoy some wine.
Yeah, apparently.
Yeah, this picture behind us is actually our cellar.
The air flight might be cheaper than buying wine, to be honest with you, nowadays.
Yeah, next time Ralph and I are going to do it from our cellar.
I love it.
Yeah,
So I think,
there's only
prior
1,000
to the
bottles down there, so.
Holy, prior to the Pan
Wow.
Canadian, there should be a bit of a forum, here's the bottles I'm willing to part with for another bottle that I really want. And then
Right?
Crazy
Yeah,
negotiations. There you go. Oh, that could be
yeah.
fun. That could be fun to watch online, right?
We
Right?
should build an app. We should build an
Right?
app where we
Right?
can trade Canadian
I'll
wine.
trade you. I'll trade you
Yeah,
a 2015 Vineland Estate Cab Franc for your.
yeah, yeah.
Jesus,
Okay, I'm
I'm
willing to
all over
part.
that. Actually, I'm gonna go steal from the cellar at work and bring those things here, and I'll be like, I got this.
That would do it. You'd
That'd
get
be
some
Love
good
fun.
stuff
it.
out of that.
Hopefully, right? So,
That's
All right.
awesome.
Well,
Thank you so much. Thank you,
thank
Keith.
so
you
much
I
guys.
mean,
fun.
Thank you
that
for
was
your time.
awesome.
Thanks for 2 hours of your life. I couldn't have asked for
Well,
more, and
two
I
hours of
appreciate that.
your life.
Thank
And please
you.
thank your wife on a
Oh,
beautiful evening like this. She loaned you
she's
to
good.
us. Thank you.
It's -4 outside. She's going nowhere. We're good.
Actual serious
Well,
question for Keith and Mira.
sure.
If you are willing to part with some of those 17s or 19s or back vintages or whatnot, you
Yeah,
need to get hooked up with them so they can add it to the shopping page so we can spend our hard-earned dollars on your wine.
perfect. I'll go look in my cellar and see what I got. So I'll email. Today's Thursday, right?
Yeah.
So to be honest with you, Mira, expect that email at the beginning of next week, and then you can do what you need to
Amazing.
do.
Perfect.
'Cause you're
And
way smarter
Keith,
than me at this shit. Because you watch me try and struggle to change my name from Aaron to Keith. So we'll leave it
I
there.
move we make tasting Thursdays a thing.
I think we
like
should do
it.
something similar. Yep. At least
I
once a
move
month.
maybe once a month.
once
Yeah.
a month, once a quarter, whatever's good. But I
Okay.
think a tasting Thursday is a good idea.
I think it's a
Okay,
great
well,
idea.
let's do that. And Keith, about
Yes, sir.
the 2023 South Clo and Churchside, would it be possible if we have a little sign up sheet for like let's say a pre-buy for when they're released?
Well, the 2023 church side you can buy. Absolutely, that's not an issue.
Yeah.
And yeah, we can do a pre-release with the club for the 2023 South Club for sure.
Okay. So I will be in touch with you and Aaron on email with that, and
Yeah.
we'll let just that group know. And
Yeah.
if someone would like to reserve a
For
6-pack, and we'll go from there.
Yeah. Sounds great. I appreciate that. Thank you.
No, thanks to you. Again, outstanding. Thank you so much for your time. Thanks for your
My
knowledge.
pleasure,
Thanks
guys.
for your passion, and love you, man. Take care.
We'll see you guys later. Thanks a
Thank you,
lot.
sir.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Everybody have a
Thank
great night.
you.
That
We'll
was
see you soon.
amazing.
Thank you.
And
So
anybody
good.
who's in the area, you've got my information. If you don't have it, Carl and Mira have it. Come and see me. And there's nothing I love more than, as some of you can attest, to spend an afternoon with people that are like-minded. So thank you so much.
Thank
Wine
you.
Bye. Bye.
Okay, guys.